Welcome to our new special podcast called The Stock Sauce, where we will be hearing from the CEO of one of the many companies our audience has been following as we continue to assist our viewers in the discovery of unexplored, brand new asset classes and emerging issuers in the world's markets. And it's my great pleasure, as always, to introduce Mr. David Patterson, the CEO of Quebec Nickel. How are you doing today, Dave?
Great, Roger. Thanks a lot for having me on. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Well, you know what? Winter is about to start, and I know the stock market is really intriguing. Everyone has a whole bunch of different narratives, but the one thing that's consistent that I'm hearing is mining of EV battery metals is something that's key. So it's been about a month since we last spoke. Can you give us an update on QNI's Ducros project?
Well, Roger, great lead into to what we have, which is a whole suite of critical metals that are needed for battery elements: nickel, copper, cobalt, platinum, palladium. So these are the things that, with the lithium, form the center of an EV.
Yeah.
Having all of those in Quebec, when Quebec plans on building 3 battery plants in Quebec, this
Wow.
could be a real opportunity for us to provide those critical elements. So, anyways, that's not your question, but that's what I'm answering. What I would like to say about where we are now from the last time is, well, we had that unbelievable hole 29. We've challenged analysts and geologists from the Abitibi to try and come up with results that can even come close to matching our hole 29. 1.44 nickel, almost 1.5 copper, elevated cobalt, almost 3 grams of platinum palladium in that one hole. Incredible, over about 11.5 to 12 meters. So
Wow.
near surface, incredible to hit that in the Abitibi. So
Awesome.
that would bring you up to the last time we talked. Then we just hit another hole 38. We don't have the assays for it yet, but we took a picture and we showed it in comparison to hole 9, and they look very, very, very similar. So it's still, we're waiting for the truth machine to come back with the assays, but it is down dip or it's a long strike. We don't know, but it could be a new zone, or it could be a pinch and a swell of the zone that we're drilling at 410 right now.
Wow, that's unbelievable. That's really good. So that means that you guys are getting close to getting some real results from your drilling.
We're going to have probably results weekly, starting once the assay labs clear out all their backlog, and you'll start seeing every 2 weeks. I'm hoping that we can put out assays, because we're drilling the extension of the Fortan, both to the north and south, and of course, the reason we send things to the lab is to find out what the grade of nickel, copper, etc. is in it. So we're anticipating those assays, and there's got to be a dozen of those still to come in.
Nice. That's great. Well, it's funny that, you start talking about, grade or class of nickel, because Elon Musk has famously said he will sign a contract with any nickel company that produces a certain class of nickel, which can help meet Tesla's demand. What can you tell us so far about the class of nickel you are seeing at Ducros?
Well, okay, I'm going to answer that one right after I tell you that when I went out and put together Quebec Nickel, the only thing I had to raise money on was a cutout of Elon Musk saying that he would finance any nickel company. And we went out and we raised our money based on that.
Wow.
So that was pretty exciting, just to say, hey, this guy's a smart guy, and this is what he's saying. Since then, of course, now we're looking very smart. I got to say, we're lucky that we are in the environment we're in Quebec. We're hitting nickel. And the important thing about the question you asked, and I'm glad you did that, is nickel in the Abitibi has long been criticized for being in the silicates. Now, your listeners probably won't understand the difference between nickel in silicates and nickel in sulfides. So what Elon Musk is talking about is class 1 nickel. Class 1 nickel is nickel in sulfides. They take that nickel out of the ground. It's an understood process to split the nickel away from the rest of the rock. They ship it to a smelter and then to a refinery, and they can get nickel cathode. Nickel cathode is what you need for a battery for an electric vehicle. So a major component of the EV is nickel. Stainless steel, that's class 1 nickel. Battery, class 1 nickel. Nickel comes from silica. You see these ones, Goro, in the Philippines, in New Caledonia. These ones are nickel and silicates, and this is what you get. You get a quality of product that's not as good as a class 1 like a sulfide. And it's the Chinese use it for what's called nickel pig iron. And if they want to get to cathode, there's a lot of work that has to be done to upgrade it to be an EV quality. Okay. So definitely a cost comparison, this is much better.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for that insight, especially regarding such an important topic. The Abitibi Greenstone Belt is known for gold mining. Are there many nickel deposits in that region, and how does your project Ducros compare?
Well, so just in a continuation of the question I just answered, we're in the Abitibi. Abitibi is famous for VMS deposits, which are copper, zinc, and gold deposits. I think in the Abitibi, they produced around 220 million ounces of gold over the last 100 years. But there's scant nickel deposits that can make it in the Abitibi when through every cycle. And the reason that is because the majority of nickel deposits in the Abitibi are silica rich. So when you grind them up and you send the concentrate to the smelter, they can only get out maybe 40 to 60% of the nickel. Nickel and sulfide like ours, and you look at the press release and you'll see that what we say about our nickel and sulfides and how we are now 100% convinced that our nickel is sulfides. That goes to the smelter, as I said, and then can be converted into a nickel cathode easily and go into an EV battery. So this is one of the things that is part of our education, is get people to realize, and I've said it before, that what we have in the Ducros is a unicorn compared to everyone else in the Abitibi. Most of these ones in the Abitibi are silica rich. We are sulfide rich.
Wow. Wow. Well, you know what, Dave? Thank you very much for taking the time to update our investment audience about Quebec Nickel's current status. And we look forward to hearing more from you about Quebec Nickel in the future.
Thank you very much, Roger.